side spin can make some snooker shots easier to play, not just by helping you get into position, but occasionally potting the ball becomes more straightforward. But unfortunately these shots aren't easy to line up, so here's a quick guide on how to allow for side spin. If I strike the cue ball in the centre, then it should leave my tip in a straight line. I was a fraction off perfect there, but not too bad. However, as you can see from the line here, the further to the left my tip strikes, the further to the right the cue ball's going to go. So if we want to pot the red here, we have to allow for this, and the tip mark on the ball represents how far off I'm aiming from where the cue ball actually ends up. And if you strike the cue ball on the right hand side, it's going to go to the left by the same amount. So how do you know how much to allow for? The only way of knowing how much the cue ball is going to deflect is by testing it yourself and seeing what works. But it's not even that simple. Watch what happens to the line here when I strike the cue ball slightly higher. It straightens up slightly because the cue ball won't deflect as wide. And as you might expect, if you strike further down the cue ball, it's going to deflect slightly wider. And it would go even further if you were to strike down at the cue ball. Power can also have a big effect on how wide the cue ball breaks. Watch the line. The harder I intend to strike the cue ball on the right hand side, it just makes it go to the left even further. And because power can affect the direction the cue ball travels in, you need to know how hard you're hitting the ball before you get to the table, so you can work out how much it's likely to deflect. What you don't want to do when you're at the table is suddenly